Yeah.
We're ready.
Ready? Okay, I'm going to bring to order the meeting of Green Bay Sexual Offenders Residency Board for July 11th. In terms of roll call, we have myself here, Dean Gerondale, Melissa Chestnut, and Renee Keenan here. So we do have a quorum. Looking at our agenda, I want to approve our agenda for today's meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, next up is approval of our minutes from our June 13th meeting. Could I have a motion on that, please?
I was not here, so I can't.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Seconded.
Okay, we're going to hear our first appeal from Ray Schiller. Is Ray here?
No, I'm representing them.
Okay. Come on up.
Yes.
Yep. Could we just have your name for the record, ma'am?
Yeah, Lindsay Christian.
Okay. And this is because Ray can't make it today?
Yes, I'm a social worker and discharge planner in the hospital.
Okay, great. So, looking at his record, he's basically in transition from the services, correct, in terms of,
Correct.
okay.
Yes.
And so how long will he be at this facility?
It really depends on how well he rehabs. I mean,
Which
he's-
facility?
Santa Maria. It's the only one that is, I've tried 54 facilities.
I could ask a
Sure.
question. I
Go
don't
ahead.
even know the appropriateness of actually hearing this matter at this time, because clearly based on the documents that have been submitted on behalf of the application, it appears as though Mr. Scheller is waiting for his guardian ad litem appointment. And since he has to represent himself, but if he's not competent, then the guardian ad litem must appear on his behalf.
I would assume so, and that's her, I believe, is that not?
I'm not his guardian, I'm the social worker that's on his case right now at the hospital. He does not have an appointed guardian right now.
He does not have an appointed guardian.
The matter was added to the agenda because the options are, he either stays in the hospital for the next 30 days until the next meeting, or he comes before the board to be approved to stay at the nursing home facility. I mean, it's up to the board whether they approve, reject, or approve for 30 days, or what the board wants to do. But that's why it was added to the agenda today, is because the other option is he stays in the hospital for another 30 days.
So based upon the records, we can move forward in terms of hearing the appeal even though he's physically not here? Or he's not even represented on the phone? We can do that? Because this is the first, I mean, we've never had this before. We've always had him on the phone or to whatever extent possible.
Well, and it's in the middle of the guardianship protected placement process.
Right.
So I don't know that he's capable of speaking for himself, even if we have him on the phone.
I have a series of questions that I wanted to inquire, and I don't feel comfortable hearing the matter and even temporarily approving placement for 30 days until there's a guardian appointed. Because as of now, he's unrepresented and he's not competent to handle the matter on himself. And I understand you're here as his social worker, but you legally can't, yeah. So I would suggest make a motion to table it until next 30 days.
Well, do you know when he's expected to get a guardian?
Tomorrow's his hearing.
Tomorrow is his hearing.
Is that here in Brown County?
No, it's Winnebago County.
So what we've done in the past, just to give you some context to this, is that, you know, we have had a special meeting in the past. We've had special meetings to deal with a particular situation that you know, the board felt that rather than waiting 30 days was inappropriate.
What do you mean special meetings?
So we you know, we have a once a month meeting. We
Right.
call it the special meeting. I call the special meeting to hear a particular appeal, rather than waiting the 30 days because there were some extenuating circumstances related to that. So, you know, obviously we need a quorum for that, at least three individuals. So if I called a special meeting, what would be best for at least for the two of you in terms of some timing? In terms of a particular day or time or whatever, because until the guardian's appointed, I get what you're saying, I do. But I don't think waiting 30 days, I think would put this not in a good situation.
Right.
Let me check my calendar.
So I don't know what your
I
calendar's like.
will be around.
You'll be around. Eating out a lot.
Yes.
Next week sometime, unfortunately this week, I'm not available. So Monday?
If we did Monday at 4 o'clock, would that work for you
He's
guys?
just gonna check his calendar.
Yeah, it would be, let's see.
Monday the earliest we could do it anyway, because I think we have to get it posted.
Right. Yeah, I would be available Monday at 4 o'clock.
Okay, with that said, then, I'd like to make a motion to postpone the review of, here, apologize, Mr. Schiller, until this next Monday, which would be the 16th of July at 4 PM, which we would hold a special meeting for in regards to his appeal. Could I have a second on that?
Second.
So will that work?
Yeah, when we find out who the guardian is tomorrow, because it's gonna be a corporate one, then I'll let them know.
Okay.
Would it be in this same room?
It'd be in the
location?
same room, yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming it passed?
I've got it, there we go, all three vote, yep, it passed.
Okay, great, thank you for your time. Next, the appeal of Christopher Poplin. Sir, have a seat. Okay, you're looking to move to 1533 Morrow Street, correct?
Yes.
And you currently work at 253 Pearl?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so your offense happened in 2005. What we're going to do is we're going to spend a little time going over that offense.
Yep.
I want to make sure that when you talk about it, just refer to the person as the victim,
Yep.
not by personal name or so forth. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what happened back in 2005?
I sexually assaulted my stepdaughter, repeatedly.
Just the victim.
Oh, the victim, sorry. The victim, for about 2 years.
And how old was the girl when you started?
From about 12 to 15.
Okay. And how did it come to light that you were abusing her?
Short story is she told friends, friends told people at the school called the police.
Okay. And did you plead guilty to the case, or did you, or not?
No, I
contest?
did not.
You did
I
not?
denied it all the way up until I finally got help in prison.
Okay. Is there any specific questions the board has in regards to the crime?
None?
Renee?
No.
Okay. I would like to talk about your treatment programs. You have the right to do that either in public session or in private session. Which would you prefer?
It's fine.
Okay. So it looks like you did get through sex offender treatment SO2 training. Tell me a little bit about the training and what you actually learned that led you to actually accept what happened.
Well, I started accepting it before then, just talking to friends and slowly working through that. In group, the first group I went to in prison, I was kind of hung up on guilt about it or shame, and they helped me work through that and being more open about it. And then I went to, when I was released, I went to tour Atkins in Oneida for about 9 months, and he helped me with a few things here and there. And in this group, I learned ways to deal with any issues that might come up to keep me from creating another victim. Currently, I'm working on self-talk if I sexualize women or judge people. That's the only thing I'm working on right now. I do have to, once I relocate, I was a victim myself for quite a while, and I need to get help for that, but with someone that specializes in it.
Are you seeing anybody right now at all?
For that?
anything?
No.
Or for anything else?
Yes, I'm in aftercare right now.
You
With
are
the
in
same.
aftercare?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Just actually, I want to take a step back a second in regards to the crime. One of the things that was, it was dismissed but was also read into, so I want you to tell me a little about it. It says soliciting a child for prostitution.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit why that charge was out there.
I went to a person that I believed to be a prostitute, asked her, I solicited her, and her back was hurt, so she offered to have her daughter work, and I agreed, and that's how that came about.
So it was different from the...
Yes,
the-
it was not
Okay,
the first one.
okay. Is that what the record reads as well, sir?
Yeah, I'm reading some statement and stuff, pretty lengthy statement. Was the, what age did you say the victim was when this started?
The first one?
Yes.
About 12.
So specifically, in terms of his recollection of the case, 12 to 15 repeated sexual assault, is that concurrent with what is accurate?
I would say so.
Okay.
Did you know she was underage?
Yes, the
daughter?
other one, yes. No, the daughter?
Of the prostitute, daughter of the prostitute?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So, okay. So I guess my question is okay, so you've gone through sexual offender treatment. So what do you think led to you committing this crime?
A bunch of things, but the last ones would have been stress, dealing with stress, the feeling of being wanted. But there's a lot, the way I was raised, had a little bit to, I know I made the decision, but the way I was raised also, it was a very sexualized environment. So, from my stepdad, a lot of the people I knew.
So where's that taking you today in terms of, obviously you've accepted what you did, but, tell me why this is not gonna happen again.
Well, at first, that's one thing that Steve helped me with, the doctor that I'm with now, is at first I was like, I will never, because I started feeling, not only about what happened to me, but what I did. I feel like I killed the person that she could have been, which is true, but I was like, I'd rather kill myself before I ever did that. And he taught me, no, that's kind of the easy way out, that's the coward's way out, and it's just that I gotta work harder, so.
So, okay, you gotta work hard, but I mean, and you said stress was the key environment, but how are you controlling those urges not to have this happen again? So if you get into a relationship with somebody else that has small children, and you have a stressful event again, what's gonna prevent you from falling back into what happened?
Well, it's not only that. For one, I would choose not to be in a relationship with someone that has young female children. The stress was multiple factors, which I don't deal with. I had my own business, and there's a lot of stress involved in it. I like my job that I have now. I really enjoy going there. I used to drink alcohol daily to help with that. I use sex to cope with that. I don't have nearly as much stress as then, but they give me breathing techniques if I ever get anxiety, grounding myself. I'm a different person than I was before, that's for sure.
Okay, so you currently have a job, right?
Yes.
And how long have you held that job?
Since October 17th of 2016.
Okay. All right.
Can I just go back to the aftercare? Do you meet one-on-one, or are you in a group?
No, I'm in a group,
Okay.
and it's a rotating group, so some leave and some come in, so there's always someone that has more experience to
Okay.
help you through it.
And is it an hour long, couple hours?
It is an hour and a half every 2 weeks for aftercare. Before I was going with Steve, it was 2 hours twice a week, and that was almost a year that I did with him. Tour was about 9 months, and then Great Granite was about 9 months. I also took addictions group, which was about 6 months, which helps me with other issues with that too.
Okay.
So the biggest reason why you want to move to Green Bay is because right now you're commuting basically.
All my family's here. My support group, which this is my landlord
Okay.
now currently, and will be over there. She's also my support group. Basically, I have nothing in Shawano other than the house that I sleep in.
Okay. All right, any other questions that the board has?
Yes, question for you. How long have you known Mr. Poplin?
Almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in December.
Okay.
When he
And
signed the lease.
I'm sorry?
When he signed our lease.
Okay. And then this was in Shawano?
Yep, Shadow.
And how are you going to be, where do you live? Let me ask you that.
We live in Green Bay.
Oh, okay. And okay, so all of your support people,
My whole family lives here, that I'm connected with, yes.
okay.
Did you grow up in Green Bay?
Yes, I did.
Are you GPS?
No. No, I'm
Okay.
How long are you on paper for?
not. About 3.5 more years.
Okay. Well, when you're not working, what do you like to do?
Eat.
Eat?
Cook and eat, yes.
Cook and eat, okay. Do you have any other hobbies besides that?
I tried fishing a little bit, but I only got to go 3 times last year. Eventually, I would like to start hunting again. I'm trying to getting back with my brother, and I want to try to reconnect with my nephews because I was not a good nephew, or a good uncle, sorry. So I'm trying to work through that.
Okay. All right, any other questions for him?
Do they want to see you? Is it trying to work it back?
My brother, yes. My nephews, they don't really know me. I
Sure.
work with one of them, he talks to me, but I want more, I want a relation, I want to try to be an uncle. That's what I'm
Okay.
going to try to do.
Okay, is there anybody here, if there's no more questions, anybody here that wants to speak either for or against Mr. Poplin?
I can speak for him. Sure.
Go ahead. And your name?
Brooke, yes.
Okay.
And basically we are Nicolay Properties. We started out small in just Shawano, and now we are Shawano, Bondwell, Green Bay. We have 23 units, and there is no victim age or anything like that. There's no minor child at all in that building. So that was something I looked at. I obviously don't want to, what's the word, tempt him in any way. I don't feel like that is a risk by any means, but just on our own conscience, I wouldn't do that. And I have denied people because of that. But he can call us anytime, text us anytime, and he has, if he needs any accountability between me and my, I guess, fiance. We are very, very aware of everything, and he talks to us freely and openly, and it's not pressured. He can call on us anytime, and I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. So whether it's just to talk, or we've talked about other situations in his life going on just for advice and things like that. But I wasn't aware you were using this as an accountability person, but by any means we would, for sure.
Okay.
We bend over backwards for our tenants, and Chris is one of the best ones we have, even with the record, you know, like it's something he did in the past, and he doesn't show anything like that at all now, and he used it his time, and we feel like, you know, he's definitely a different person. We have minor children, and occasionally he has been around them with us there, of course, and there's never been any threat or uncomfortable feeling, anything like that. So I feel comfortable having him continue being our tenant, yeah.
Okay,
He does know that we have a crime-free addendum where if there's any issue other than emergency contact, you know, for emergency services, health, that kind of thing,
right.
that we would terminate his lease immediately, and he's understanding of that, and that hasn't changed since day one. PO visits, you know, and that kind of stuff excluded, but if there's constant police contact that's negative, we're not dealing with that, and that's never been an issue. He calls us all the time if there's any damage to the house, like somebody egged the house around homecoming. He let us know right away, you know, he's very on top of his stuff, he takes care of his stuff, he takes care of our stuff, and it's important to us.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else, does anybody want to make a motion in regards to him?
I make a motion to approve Mr. Poplin to 1533 Morrow Street, address specific.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, motion fails because there's not a second. Anybody else want to make a different motion?
A motion to approve Mr. Poplin moving to 1533 Morrow Street, Green Bay, address specific, for a period of 90 days,
After which,
after which he needs to reappear before the board and to establish that he is, bring some proof that he's still undergoing counseling. This is a new area, new location. I'm concerned about triggers. I'm concerned about any of his triggers occurring because of the new location, what have you.
okay. All right, is there a second? I will second that motion. All right, we'll have to vote on the motion.
Wake up. I think doesn't want to stay.
Vote fails, 2-1 vote. Don't we need to have a majority of the board?
No,
Or is it just a majority of the quorum?
Majority that are here for a quorum, as long as we have the quorum, so if it's 2-1,
right, passes.
Okay.
did it pass then? Okay, okay.
Passes.
All right, sir, you've been approved to go ahead to move to 1533 Morrow Street, Green Bay, address specific. You will have to appear in front of the board within 90 days. You will get notice of that. Would you like the approval to go to the new location or to the old location? Notice of
The
it.
old location, do I gotta do any paperwork before then, or is it
No,
automatic?
you just have, you just
Okay.
have to, they'll, on the notice will tell you what meeting you're scheduled to be here
All
for.
right.
If you don't show up, then
Well, I'll
you'll
be
probably be
here.
automatically denied.
I will
Okay?
be here.
All right, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
do actually have something to say.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
The unit is not even available until August 1st. And then if we happen to have him sign another year lease, and then he doesn't get approved at that 90 days?
That's his
Okay,
risk.
okay. And you're aware of that?
So the 90 days is gonna go from August 1st till?
No,
It'd
from
be
this
today.
date, from this
Okay,
date.
okay.
Well, it'll be the
Third meeting.
third meeting, it's always the second Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
So it'll be October.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, so
Second
is that
Wednesday of
enough
October.
time for you to feel comfortable with?
I'll just have to
Feeling
see,
and triggers?
I'll have to see what he produces.
Okay. So
All
are
right.
you good?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Next appeal is for Michael DeWill. Okay, Mr. DeWill, we're here to hear your appeal. And you're looking to move to, here this comes up, to 909 Waverly Place, Green Bay.
Yes.
And you're currently at 2670, can't read that.
University Avenue.
University Avenue.
Yes.
It's a halfway house?
Yes, I'm doing the AODA program.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna start with talking about your conviction. Again, just refer to the person as the victim and tell us what happened.
I met the victim when I was 17, and we started dating. And her parents hated me for good reason. I was not a good person when I was younger. When I turned 18, we found out that she was pregnant, and it was pretty much choice of breakup or the charges, and I ended up having the charges filed. Did 9 months in jail, successfully did 7 years on probation.
Okay? So I guess the question that I had, I was just trying to look at the, to go back to it here after I read it the first time. So you're currently at the halfway house, and is that for a different conviction?
Yeah, it was an OWI conviction. My hope is to transfer the rest of my probation in Brown County. I've been up in Door County for about the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Are you currently employed, sir?
Yes, I am.
Where are you employed?
Carboline Industries
Where's that located?
on Elizabeth Street.
Okay.
In Green Bay?
Yes.
So do you have any interaction with the victim at this point at all, or the child, anything like that?
No.
Okay. So basically, you're telling me this was a Romeo and Juliet type situation. Were you dating her a longer time?
Yeah, we dated for a while afterwards, yeah. Yes.
Okay. So, regards to the case, does that sound accurate?
Yeah,
Regards
so
to-
you're speaking of the incident back in
94.
93, 94. yeah.
94, yeah, it's, I'm kind of paging up through this, there's something from 2004 about a situation where you, I don't know if you're kind of.
No, that got like completely blown out of proportion, and even when the investigator talked to me, he deemed that it was just like hearsay and nothing happened. I ended up getting intoxicated, and I slept with my friend's girlfriend, and he found out about it. She said that I forced it, and the investigators talked to her, and she recanted her story.
Because the 94 stuff, I don't believe the commander was able to find that kind of
Information.
information. The only thing I just want to call attention to the board, and Mike, you can comment on this too, looks like, are you still on probation?
Yes, I am.
It looks like you've had, like, last year, you went into custody like 7 times, maybe?
I'm living in Door County. I have nobody up there. My probation officer wouldn't allow me to get my driver's license, and all my family is here. So, yeah, I was drinking quite a bit. I was on a SoberLink device, and that wasn't even doing it. And so, yeah, it was probation holds for alcohol use.
You were last released from custody from Door County back in April of this year?
Yep, when I came to the program here.
Okay.
So in regards to I guess the sexual offense, I mean, were you, you said you weren't a good person back then. Tell me what the issues were back then.
I was a huge troublemaker. I got kicked out of high school. I bounced from job to job. I got into a lot of fights. I got into a lot of trouble. It was, started out getting in trouble when I was 15, and I just kind of kept going with it. I just caught myself getting into a lot of trouble a lot. And that's not really the type of person that any parent wants their child to be with. I used to get in arguments with their brothers. I used to get in arguments with their mother. I used to get in arguments with their grandmother or stepfather. I mean, it didn't matter. I mean, if they made me mad, I'd argue with them.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board members?
Yes. In the paperwork that you submitted, your grandmother did not make a statement, and is she here today?
No, she's not. My grandmother is 94 years old. She does not drive. She has arthritis in both of her hands, which is why the letter wasn't written. She knows nothing about social media. She she barely knows how to use a remote. So this is beneficial to both of us. And prior to this charge, during this charge, and even after this charge, I lived with my grandmother for a number of years. And she knows that I want my transfer. My PO is not against my transfer. So this is beneficial to both of us. And I was also, last summer, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer. And I went into remission in March, but in June, I was re-diagnosed where it's come back and it's the more aggressive form. So there's gonna be trips to Milwaukee that I have to take for stem cell research. And all my treatment is here. I did do treatment up in Sturgeon Bay, and the time that I was up in Sturgeon Bay and did treatment, I was really unhappy with the treatment up there. And I believe one of the reasons that my remission is supposed to be 3 to 5 years, and I made it 3 months. And my feeling and my new oncologist feeling is that they put me in remission too quick. We should have done more chemo treatments, because the main chemo for the cancer that I have, I went into anaphylactic shock. I was allergic to it, so we had to downgrade to a different form of chemo. So I really don't want to go back up to Door County and have to go through chemo with them again, because I wasn't impressed the first time. So I really like my oncologist now. Plus, I'm closer to Milwaukee. All my family lives here. My parents live in Lena. Both my brothers live here in Green Bay. My grandmother's on the west side.
Okay. Any other questions?
So what treatment are you undergoing right now for the alcohol abuse? Because, yes, you also,
Just before you start, I have to ask him, before we talk about his treatment programs, if he wants to do it in either public or private session.
No, this is fine.
Okay, go ahead.
what are you doing right now?
I pretty much completed the course. We've done thinking for change, cognitive behaviors, thinking for change, cognitive behaviors, and the regular AODA course. I do one-on-ones with a case manager. I do one-on-ones with my AODA counselor. Right now, we're in aftercare.
Question for you, was alcohol involved at all with the underlying sexual offense?
No.
Did you ever finish high school, GED?
Yeah.
When did you do that?
God, it wasn't much longer. 98, it was before 2000. I believe it was like 97, 98. I went back down to UTC for my HSE.
Well, because I noticed in 2006, one of the court orders was to obtain it. So why are they having you obtain it in 2006 if you already had it? Let me go back and look here. if anyone has any other questions while I look.
So just looking at the back record in 2013, you were looking to move back down here again. But it seems like that never came to fruition. Can you tell me why?
2000, wait, no,
Basically, it was the first part of 2013, you made a motion.
oh,
Okay.
that was to move from my grandmother's house to another place. And I hadn't yet secured the place, I guess. It was kind of in the process of securing it. It sounded good, I was gonna get it, and it just so happened that this meeting came about before I had gotten the approval from the landlord at the time.
Okay, all right. Okay. You be able to find it?
No, it's 2006, I'm just going through these.
I see you listed your grandmother's phone number.
Yes.
Is she at home right now?
Which it should be a,
Is it something that we've done in the past, contacted the?
Yep, you bet. Verify. You want to do that?
Yes, I don't feel comfortable not having her here or what have you.
Okay, you have the number handy?
Oh.
It's in the letter.
Right.
544-8032.
544.
8032.
And what's your first name?
Cora.
Cora.
Hello.
Cora, this is Dean Gerondale. I'm with the Green Bay Sexual Offenders Residency Board, and we got Michael here with us.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure that you're okay with him moving in with you and living with you.
Yes, I thought I'd give it a try again because of all the problems he's having.
Okay. Okay. So, what type of rules are you putting in place in terms of for him to live there, or are there any stipulations?
Pardon?
Are there any stipulations for him living with you in terms of his conduct?
Oh, that was a long time ago, but for the last 3 years, he's been a good boy, and he's just the opposite of what he was before.
Okay. Okay.
So he was young, he went through a lot, and now he's growing up, I guess, learned a lot.
All right.
So I think he'll be all right.
Excuse me, what is your grandmother's last name?
Van Downslow.
Ma'am? Hello, ma'am,
Hello.
hi, this is Melissa Cheslock. I'm also on the board with Mr. Gerondale, Melissa Cheslock. I have a question. You stated that your grandson is now a good boy. Do you recall the last time your grandson was in custody or in state prison or jail?
You know, I can't hardly hear you.
Do you want us to restate?
Ma'am, the question she's asking is do you know the last time that he was in custody or was in prison or anything into that effect?
Well, he's still ending up with time from prison. He had a prison, then he asked to be out and put in his home. And he's been there for a while. I don't know what the dates are or anything.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what the dates are.
Ma'am, is your grandson, is Chris?
No.
I'm sorry, first name is Christopher. Is he allowed to drink alcohol in your home?
No, Michael. This is
Michael.
Michael.
Michael, I'm looking at the wrong one, I'm sorry.
He's not allowed to drink any alcohol.
No, none at all.
Okay,
Okay. Any other questions?
no.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I did find it. It was under the fourth OWI, and it just says defendant to maintain full employment, defendant to obtain HSED or GED within 12 months from today. And this was on January 6th of 2006. There's an asterisk, and then it goes down to complete an AODA assessment. So maybe, I don't know if that's combined or not, but I just was curious when I read that in there. If you,
I don't know, that's news to me. That's the first time I heard that.
but you did get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I even am all set up I'm just waiting to go and pay for my assessment and make my appointment for my assessment, and then I'm even in compliance with my driver's safety plan to get my driver's license back, which is the first time in probably 20 years that I'm gonna be in compliance to get my driver's license back.
Okay. So as part of your condition of probation, are you still like on, like an alcohol, where they test your blood or anything like that? Or
They were doing that prior to me coming into this program.
Prior to-
I was on a portable breathalyzer.
Okay, and you're not on that anymore?
No, I haven't had a drink since, right around Thanksgiving was the last time that I drank. And then on the stuff that I'm here for, I turned myself into jail. And when my PO came to see me, I talked to her about Marshall House and the program at the Marshall House as a way of me hopefully getting back here to Green Bay, because this is where I wanted to come back to for a couple of years now. I pretty much, the last 3.5 years since I got out of prison for my last OWI, I've been trying to get back here.
So I guess the other question is, you said, so your PO is in favor of you moving to Green Bay. Has Brown County accepted you yet?
No, we had to come through this first.
Okay.
And depending on whether it was approval or denial, if it was approval, then my probation officer was gonna fax everything over to the Department of Corrections here.
Okay, all right. Okay, any other questions for him?
None for me.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion to approve you to 909 Waverly Place, address specific, for 90 days, same thing, 90 days. Have you come back, just show us how things are going.
Seconded.
Okay, have a second so we can vote?
Vote passes 2-1.
Okay, sir, you've been approved to move to 909 Waverly Place, address specific. You will have to come back to us in our October meeting. And what I suggest in terms of information, one is if you're still involved in the program or any other programs involved, if you could give us any documentation to that effect.
I have all the documentation from the one that I'm at now.
Okay, that's what you should bring, okay?
Okay.
All right, and where would you like it sent? To this new location?
Yes.
909 Waverly Place?
Yes.
Okay, will do.
Great, thank you.
Next is Mr. Gustafson. Okay, and where is Mr. Gustafson?
Sorry?
It's Lee?
Yes.
That's you? Okay, Lee. Okay, Lee, we're going to start off with talking about your sexual offenses. And I want you to just refer to the person as the victim, okay? So why don't we start with conviction in 2003. Tell me what happened.
Okay, 2003, I sexually assaulted my victim a few times over the course of a couple of years.
How old were you at the time?
I was, let's see, 2003, I would have been 15 going on 16.
Okay. And you knew the victim prior to the assault?
Yes, I'd known the victim basically my whole life.
Okay. So how did it come to light that you had done this?
That one came to light after the other case.
Okay, so why don't you tell me about the other case then?
The other case was another victim, similar situation where I'd known them a long time, and again, I repeatedly sexual assaulted them over, I think it was a 6-month period.
So in this case, then you were
That case I was
17?
18.
18?
Yep.
Okay. So why do you think you were doing what you were doing?
I had a lot of issues back then. The biggest one was social. I struggled socially quite a bit. I basically locked up in social situations, didn't know how to talk to people, ended up isolating myself. I became depressed and suicidal for a while. And there were a lot of things about who I am, who I want to be that I was struggling with, so I was basically angry all the time, and I didn't know how to deal with anything.
Okay. So, another quick question here. So how long have you been out of prison?
I was released in 2014.
Okay.
Were these your only 2 victims? Or?
Yes.
So, any more questions on the assaults?
None for me.
Okay, we want to talk about your treatment programs here. Can we talk about it in public session or are we looking private? Okay. Does anybody else have any questions related to his treatment programs?
Yes. Lee, I have a question for you. In the paperwork that was submitted, there were suggestions for you and how you can have more social interaction, appropriate social interactions. Have you done any of that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I am still seeing Jim Drake as aftercare right now, one-on-one, and he works on that with me a lot about not just finding people to interact with, finding out who I am, helping me feel more confident in myself so that I can interact with other people on a level situation.
And have you, what social organizations or nonprofits or what have you gone to help you with social?
Not sure what you mean. Like,
Well, one of the suggestions is that you become involved in an LGBTQ support group. Have you done that?
okay, I have made attempts. Both my probation officer and my counselor have tried to help me. There's very little of that in the way of that here in Green Bay. We haven't been able to find one that I can regularly meet with at this point.
Are you allowed to travel?
I am allowed to go out of the county with my agent permission. I have to submit request for that.
Okay. What about Appleton area? I
Okay.
know that there are groups and organizations for the LGBTQ community down there.
Okay.
Anything else? What are you involved in socially? What groups?
I would say most of my social interaction comes from family and work. With work, I have some coworkers there who we in the past we've done things like a cookout at someone's house and gone there and hung out for a night, had some food and all that, played games. As far as like official groups, I don't think I have that.
I mean, do you do you attend any church services or anything else in terms of interaction with people?
I do not attend church.
Okay.
No.
So a couple of questions specifically. I'm referring to your sexual offender program report. Okay. So, and I agree with what the report is telling me and what you're describing to me in terms of some of the issues you have relating to social interaction. So what did you learn about managing social interaction as how it relates to why you committed these crimes against these children?
Well, I know that the lack of interaction was one of the main reasons I assaulted my victims, because I know I had known them most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that didn't apply too much to my victims. I didn't struggle with that. That was a big part of the reason, which is why it's important to have people I can talk to. And I do have a best friend who I talk to regularly, almost every day, and I can bring anything to her. She's aware of my history. And I learned, well, I did learn quite a lot about my triggers and that type of thing. So,
So it says here that that you still had some impulsivity related to pornography and things like that. Now granted, this was in 2016. Tell me, how you're managing those types of things in regards to, again, are you using that as relation to social involvement because you're not with people socially, or tell me a little bit more about that.
As far as the pornography and stuff, right now I'm not allowed to use the internet. Before, I had been approved for select usage with like work and other things like that relating to housing or other things, and I wasn't doing that. I had issues where I would look up pornography at times. Now, so basically, now I don't have access to it at all, and for me, it's mostly trying to remember what I've learned, the things I've learned over the years about impulse control, about trying to find healthy ways to deal with any stress or anything I need to let out. It's certainly not at the level where it was when I was committing my crimes, where it was daily, it was multiple times a day. It was basically just a constant back then.
Okay. So, one other quick question for you. It says, so you're currently living at 2421 Santa Barbara Drive, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But as I look at the record here, you were never approved to live here through this board.
That's in Ashwaubenon.
Oh, that's in Ashwaubenon?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, because it says Green Bay here, so
Right.
that's the reason why I'm asking. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Who do you currently live with?
I live with my mom.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay. And why is it that you want to move?
Well, I would like to be responsible for myself. I'd like to be on my own. I've had an apartment on my own in the past, but that was before my legal trouble, and I feel like, as a person, it's always something I've taken pride in, that I'm financially stable, that I can do that on my own, that I can be that person, be responsible for myself, and for my mom as well. It's difficult for her too, having me there sometimes where I need, she would like to see me on my own too, I guess is what I'm saying.
Now, are you looking to buy this house?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been approved by the bank, the offer was accepted, and we're going through all the paperwork.
Okay. So
Right now, forgive me if you stated this and I missed it, what counseling or group activities regarding your offenses are you in right now?
As far as counseling, I see Jim Drake at Family Services
How often again?
once a month for aftercare.
Anything else?
No. I see my agent every 2 weeks.
So in terms of buying this particular property, I'm just looking at your employment, you were 40 hours a week at $11 per hour.
That's actually gone up. I got a raise a month or two ago, but yes.
So what I'm kind of wondering is how can you afford a house?
I've always been very good financially. I save money. I
Okay.
have, quite a bit in the bank right now, and I have very good credit. And, I'm able to cover the down payment and everything else at this point.
Okay. All right.
I will, if you can address this is my concern, is that prior to these offenses and after you were receiving treatment with Mr. Drake, and before that, everything was around lack of social interaction with people. And when you move, you're going to be further isolated because you'll be by yourself. And for me, I don't see that you're taking steps to be more social. you may be much more social than you were before, but getting over a hump and contacting organizations, I mean, even if you can't use the internet, mom can, or maybe your best friend, and connecting you to those resources. That's my concern, because that is one of your triggers. And when you're on your own, you'll be further isolated.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
So how do you address her concerns?
Well, I suppose the first way to do it is talk to my probation agent about being able to go to Appleton and look for groups there and find something there.
And do you have somebody that you can rely upon who can do internet searches for you, specifically for joining other groups, for social reasons?
I'm sure
Support?
my mom would probably.
Did you have anything to say?
Yes, I would love to.
Sir, ma'am, can I just have your full name for the record, please?
Sure, Catherine Steve Peck.
Okay, go ahead.
Bringing up so much. Lee's childhood, I would say, Lee was very confused, was very unhappy, searching, trying to figure out who Lee was. I think about the same time this all finalized, where when Lee was turning 18, Lee was finally coming to realize exactly who he was. And life itself was already turning around, but still, he was turned in, obviously, from, a parent and had to take accountability for all that, and Lee did say, yes, that was me. I will do anything. I am ready to get help. I am a new person. I have, really realization of, I know who I am now, and I feel a lot better about myself. So that really did happen. Lee, and you say socialization, not being social, yeah, because he was so struggling with, why do I feel so weird and like I don't feel normal? But Lee's not really that antisocial. We have all family members that we hang with, and we do group dinners and parties and things together. And Lee will continue to come over for dinner or have us over and another sibling. Just wanting to be in his own place because he's grown up enough and he doesn't really want to live with mom anymore. I mean, that's the truth. It's not like there's issues of living with me. So he's a very gentle soul. He's very quiet. He's not a drinker, smoker, drugs, partier. Lee is a very gentle, happy soul, completely different person than Lee was as a teenager. And this was teenage. Still, Lee wants to live on his own. Lee wants to cook his own meal in his own kitchen and do his own thing, have his own space. Another little aspect of it is, it's not his dad who's my husband. So Lee lives with my husband, and it's just less comfortable for them. You're not like close pals, you're a grown-up, and it's not his kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, we've done it now for 9 years. No, you haven't been living back with us for 4 now, 4 and some, yeah. But Lee wants his own place because he's there. He's ready. He won't become like, oh, I'm going to fall back in. That's just not even the person that used to exist as a teenager. I can say I strongly believe that.
Okay. Is there anybody here that would like to testify either for or against him? Okay. Just a quick question in regards to the record. Is that in terms of his information he applied that he knew both victims that they came to light after the second offense? Is that consistent with the record? It is. All right. Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Can I ask one more
Sure.
question? What aspect are you, what stage are you in the process of buying this home?
Right now, it's mostly the financial stage. The offer was accepted, and I'm working on getting the actual loan and the home insurance and all of that. We don't close until next month, so.
And based on the paperwork from Range Bank, he's got here, you're pre-approved for the property. It says approval is subject to the appraisal. That's either greater or equal to the purchase price, home insurance, and appearance of clear title, which the second two are pretty, now, is the appraisal already been done?
Yeah, I actually got it in the mail today.
And was it above
Yes.
purchase price? Okay. Okay.
I think I have one question. Did you turn in all the paperwork, like you had letters of recommendation or something
Yes,
from Jim
that was
Drake
submitted
and your
with-
employer?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I didn't see anything from Jim Drake. I saw it from the employer.
Yeah, Jim Drake is
Yeah.
right here. This is Jim
Did
Drake,
I miss it? Okay.
page 7.
Okay. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'm going to make a motion to approve Mr. Gustafson to address specific 1832 Smith Street.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. We just need to vote.
Vote fails 2-1.
Could I entertain a second, a motion that Miss, I'm not sure how to word this properly, that Lee come back to us in 30 days showing proof that you've actually gone and tried and got involved with different social groups that will support you.
Okay.
I know I would feel much better knowing that you have supportive, not just your family, not just coworkers, but all the other time in the day that you have people you can call who understand where you are, where you have been. They've gone through it themselves.
When were you going to try to close on this house?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
On the voting. There was a motion made and it was seconded.
Right?
So how could it fail?
Just then she voted no.
Mhm.
But still, 2-1 would make it pass.
No.
There were two
No. No.
votes to deny.
Oh, the vote was to not,
Okay.
okay, sorry.
So when were you planning to close on this home?
August 6th, I believe, is the date.
Our meeting isn't until, I think it's August,
Week after that.
week after, yeah. Would it be a huge imposition to delay it a week or not?
I'm not sure if I'd be able to
Yeah.
do that.
What's the term of your escrow period?
Term of the escrow?
No, what is the timeframe? Is it a 60-day escrow, 45-day, 30-day?
Actually, I do have paperwork here, let me. No, the insurance was 30-day escrow as far as,
Something is not right.
initial escrow deposit,
We need a motion to approve.
the initial would have been
And you second.
a full year's paid ahead of
And then we
time.
voted on, excuse me, I'm sorry. We should do one or the other.
Okay.
So, let me just finish his comments, then we'll go to you. Okay, go ahead.
But you had a 45-day from the bank or was that to the seller?
That was the closing.
Closing
45
with the
days.
seller, 45 days.
The escrow, I'm paying a year up front, and then it would be 1 month ahead after that.
Okay.
So the escrow is 45 days, which puts us like August 6th. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Can we clarify the motion though?
Mhm.
Sure, go ahead. The motion
We need a
was,
motion to approve.
motion to approve was,
You seconded the motion to
Right.
approve.
right,
And then you voted.
Right,
yeah,
And 2 voted against,
yes,
yes.
right.
even though you seconded.
I second, someone seconds, all that means is I
There's gonna be a
agree
vote.
that there should be a vote.
Yeah.
That's it. Doesn't say I'm voting in favor of.
Okay.
I agree that there should be a vote.
Oh, I thought the motion was to approve, she said.
Right,
Okay.
which was the motion as opposed to approving it outright.
Right.
It's a motion to have a vote.
Okay.
Right.
On a
Okay,
specific-
I didn't understand,
Mhm.
didn't
Yep.
understand, okay.
Well, I mean, I think that, I can't justify another meeting, for your closing. So, if the motion comes through again, you probably have to wait another week. I don't know if that's possible or not, but, I mean, that's, again, I don't even know if that motion comes up, whether that motion would pass or not, either two.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So I guess we felt like Lee was doing everything in his power to, in his whole last number of years, to do
Mhm.
everything in a positive manner and just really being a healthy, happy person. And he does have his parole officer who he meets with every week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And she is very positive in this aspect of doing, yes, do this and find a place to live if you'd like to move out and, we said, is this possible? Can I purchase a house? Yes, you can. You go through the meeting, you go, and I wonder if it isn't possible to do it and what would it take to get approved? I just
Well,
can't
I think,
imagine.
the first thing you have to understand is this board is comprised of a group of citizens. We don't get paid, we're not elected, we're not anything.
Yeah.
So the board is very concerned about making a mistake. Not one of us want to sit here and one day have somebody that we've approved re-offend. And unfortunately, child sexual offenders have a high degree of recidivism. And so, I know me personally, it would devastate me if that ever happened. So in regards to, when we ask for motions and we say, hey, we're going to look at you for 90 days and see how you're doing, it's because we're so concerned about change affects a lot in regards to child sexual offenders. So, I'm just speaking for me.
Mhm.
The issue that I still have here is that I don't think he's made a full transition in terms of the issues that started his sexual offense, from the standpoint of he's still a shy individual. He hasn't made a lot of new contacts other than through his family or work, which is familiarization, And so what my struggle is the underlying reason why he committed the crime was isolation. And so, although I wasn't there when he was a teenager, and obviously you were, okay, so you have a far greater understanding than I do. We've been here for 15 minutes discussing it.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, the underlying concern is still there. So that's the reason why I think she's putting forth what she did. I don't want to speak for you, but go
May I
ahead.
speak? And you're right, I am shy. I'm still, I don't think I'm ever going to be the outgoing person
Yeah,
that
yeah.
wants to go to parties,
Mr.
I'm not
Social,
gonna be,
yeah.
but I'm very comfortable, like right now, my job, I work with people constantly. It's an open kitchen in front of customers. It's all sorts of stuff, and I'm comfortable there. I don't feel like I need to be afraid or that I have, that I struggle to interact with people. If someone comes up to me and someone I don't know, I'm able to respond to them. I'm able to be a normal, interact normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But what I'm looking for is, you've been with your mom for 4 years. And by your own admission, you haven't made a great deal of friends. It's one thing to interact with people at work. It's another thing when you leave work and you go home or you go to wherever you live, and then you have some sort of, other than family, an outlet of a person to talk to, or go for a bike ride or do whatever, versus going home and sitting in front of the TV. It's an underlying concern for me, and I think that's what I have.
For me, I have a background. My background is, and I have worked with offenders, contacted, talked with offenders, sexual offenders with children, in addition to their victims. And what I see, what concerns me most, is that the suggested treatment follow-up that was given to you in, I believe that was in 2000 and, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, that you do look for LGBTQ groups so you can maintain friendships, establish friendships, or socially, so you're not isolated, because isolation, as Mr. Durandal stated, is one of the triggers. And I don't feel comfortable approving your move now, and I understand you're in a precarious position right now, because you've already entered that contract, and if, with denying us denying your ability to move there, you will lose money, unless they want to extend the escrow period. And I admire what you're doing. I think it's fabulous that you are trying to move out on your own in your home, but unless you address those other issues, so that you have more people as a network for support, because there are going to be things that come up all the time. And family's great, I can tell you, but sometimes they're not enough. And Mr. Drake is great, but that's not enough. You need someone who's not in a professional capacity, but has gone through some of the issues, personal issues that you have. I have friends who, and former co-workers who are in the process of transitioning, and there's a lot of stuff dealing with other people who are just kind of yucky, that's my legal term for it, just kind of yucky to you. And that is my concern. So I would ask, I'm not sure how the vote would be on this or how I should phrase it, but I would suggest that you go back, ask to extend the escrow period if that's what you choose to do, but come back to us in at least 30 days and to show that, yes, you are working on avoiding those triggers.
Okay.
Why can't we approve it now and have them come back with
Well-
that?
Well, I think the issue would, me personally, I would feel very uncomfortable if I was him signing on the dotted line for
But
a house.
that's up to him.
That's totally up to him.
Then we're not,
We're not telling him not to. So
Right.
I agree with you. I mean, we could approve it and come back in 30 days, and if he comes back with, you know, I haven't really found anybody in Appleton or everybody talking to, and all of a sudden we vote him no, now he's bought a house.
Mhm.
And that he can't live in.
Yeah, I don't want,
Right, we
I don't want to do
want
that.
I don't want to do that.
Well,
I
I
mean-
thought we were taking all the right steps to make sure with,
That there are more steps
Her.
that need to be taken to make us comfortable, if I can speak for
Yep.
you. There are more.
So she's
I'm
never.
not sure
she's-
I'll be able to extend.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, all we can do is that, you know, you can come back on the agenda next month, and we don't have to vote on that. You can come back. Correct, you can.
Yeah, you can.
You can reapply.
Yep.
Yep, okay. And to see, you know, what you can do in the next 30 days to address that situation. You know, I think that's all we can promise right now, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not voting for you to come back in 30 days, because I would just feel like a heel if it wasn't, because all of a sudden you have the whole board here, there's 5 people, and all of a sudden 2 other people who haven't been here, you know, make a different vote on a totally different scenario, and now you're sitting in a house. I just, that's why I'm not gonna vote for it, because that's not right for you. It's not right to anybody. I wouldn't do that to anybody. So, that's where I'm kind of sitting right now. So, that's really your choice. You can come back in 30 days, tell us where you're at with addressing some of these concerns, and if the board votes at that time, well, then you're good. I mean, that's where we're at, because unless someone wants to bring another motion at this point, you just have to reapply for next month. Okay? All right. Thank you.
And you Google search that. You can Google it. that's an organization that we can help.
Okay.
Next up is Mr. Keys. All right, Mr. Keys, we're here to hear your appeal to move to 434 14th Avenue, is that correct?
Correct. The upper apartment.
Okay, upper,
Yeah.
okay. So we're gonna go over your offenses, again, just refer to the person as the victim, not by a proper name or how they're affiliated with you. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the 2008 conviction and the 2013 conviction?
The 2008 conviction, I was in possession of child pornography. And that all came about by a roommate going through CDs that I had in my possession of pictures I had downloaded. And when the first picture he popped open was of a younger child naked, and he reported me to the police.
Okay.
In 2013, I was living in Montana and had been discharged from the military by that time. I met up with a girl who technically is a victim by just the phrase of it. They ended up dropping that case against her, but still got me with possession of child pornography.
So, just so I got the timing right on this, so even though there was one in September 2008, September 13th, the September 8th case says you were convicted on August of 2015?
Correct.
Okay.
After the Montana?
Correct. I was sentenced and convicted in Montana in 2014, August 19th, I believe. And sometime after that, I was actually picked up December 29th, 2014 by U.S. Marshals in Montana, and they took me to the county jail out in Montana and waited for extradition back to Wisconsin, which I got back in Wisconsin January 15th of 2015.
So when was the roommate? When, I mean, not.
The roommate was in 2008
Here in Wisconsin.
in Wisconsin. I am from Wisconsin originally.
Right, but you weren't convicted of that until
No.
after Montana?
Correct. They questioned me
Okay.
when the incident happened. I don't know what happened between there and when I actually did get charged, but that's...
Okay.
So is that how you're seeing the case?
Yeah,
If I could just interject, unfortunately, that tends to be the case here in Brown County, that there are cases like this that will sit for a while before they're actually filed, because probably Mr. Keese was out of custody and had moved by that time to Montana, or
Well, I joined the military.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's unfortunately not unusual.
Okay. Go ahead.
yeah, the only thing, so I don't have the Montana report, but I had some notes from a previous meeting. It was for a sexual abuse of a child case in which the victim was underage, and it was an underage acquaintance that you met through a chat.
Yeah, that was the Montana
That was
stuff.
Montana?
Yep.
Okay.
She ended up being 13. I did not know her age at the time, nor did I ask, so I really wasn't in that position. I had an inkling of that she was underage, but at the time I really didn't care.
And to make sure, that wasn't a pornography case, that was an actual act on
It
on a person.
turned out they dropped the charges against my victim, and still got me with the child pornography. It is labeled as sexual abuse of children, only for the fact they don't have a child pornography statute.
When you say, and Melissa chime in here, when you say they dropped the charges on her, I guess.
Well, against me, as her, as the victim.
As the assailant or the.
Right.
Okay.
I had been told that it was due to her lying to the police about different things that had happened. I don't know if that's totally the truth, but they had just dropped the charges of me against her.
Okay.
And how, you met her in a chat room, correct?
Correct.
What chat room?
Facebook.
Okay. And did you come across, okay, did you have any interaction with her other than in Facebook?
Prior to meeting?
Mm-hmm.
No.
And where was it that you met with her at first time? Alright.
At her apartment, or not her apartment, but the apartment complex where she had lived.
Okay. Treatment?
Oh, yeah, so if we want to talk about your treatment programs, can we do that in public session, or, okay, go ahead. Ben.
Okay. What type of treatment are you undergoing now?
I am currently in aftercare. Here's a letter from the provider.
Yes. Okay.
I am also in Thinking for a Change, which I had provided that letter when I submitted the appeal. And I did successfully complete SOT 2 in prison.
President, okay.
What's
Uh,
here in Wisconsin?
Yes, in Oshkosh.
Okay. And you completed, okay. With regard to the support people that you listed, where do they live?
Potter.
Everyone lives in Potter?
Yeah, my family's in Potter, and my pastor and his wife, and Stacy's actually in Hillbridge.
Okay. So,
It's all Calumet County.
okay, so my question then would be, why are you asking to move here?
This is where probation is for me. I'm kind of stuck up here, and I am an SBN, special bulletin notice. I am on GPS. So my probation officer said it would be a lot more difficult to switch counties. And plus, I do have a job up here. I've held since February. I work at Vintage Cantina as a cook. Yeah.
And so everybody, all of your support people live outside Round County,
Yeah.
except your parole agent.
Right. I am connecting with guys in aftercare and Thinking for a Change. So we bounce ideas.
And you're in aftercare, do you have a therapist that you're working with as well?
No.
None at all?
No. Well, Rebecca Kirsten, the facilitator for the aftercare program.
And how long is the aftercare program?
It's every week. And here they're saying between 60, 20, and 16 sessions. I don't know.
Okay.
They didn't give me an end date yet. I think I'm at like 15 sessions so far.
And what other type of counseling or are you receiving, or do you plan on receiving?
I am in contact with Circles of Support. I had been going to them weekly, and then I had stopped due to work. I work every Wednesday when they meet, so I am still in contact with the facilitator for that and some of the volunteers. I do go to church. I know it's not really a group or program, but it is a big support system for me.
So, we're kind of reviewing your report a little bit after you completed SO2 training. It still listed a couple of high-risk factors out there for you. One is, cheated on your wife throughout the relationship, so you said there's still deceptiveness out there, and then the lack of healthy relationships. Can you address those for me?
I saw women as satisfaction for myself. I had, like or that stated, I did cheat on both my wives I've had. I don't condone what I've done, but as far as the healthy relationships, I just need to build and try not to push a subject and just kind of go with the flow. It was an instant gratification for me as far as everything else.
What do you mean by push the subject?
Well, just, it was always about sex or sexually related stuff with me.
Is the program that you're undergoing or participating in the criminal thinking program?
That is the Thinking for a Change that I'm currently in.
Okay.
And before you had this job in February, where were you working before that?
I just released from prison in January.
Okay, so this is your first job
Yeah.
since, okay.
Yep. And in this 5-6 months since being released, I've battled through 2 times being homeless. I was kicked out of the TLP
Right.
because I lapsed on my 4 months, and then Rebecca, my facilitator, got me back in for another month extension, and now I'm technically homeless. And this whole time I've held employment. I've no police contact.
Where have you been staying?
In my car, kind of at Meijer in the parking lot or Walmart.
Okay.
And where do you work? I'm sorry.
Vintage Cantina, right next to the Meijer Theater.
It's very good.
Just a question. Why haven't you been residing with any of your family relatives down in the Potter area?
I didn't want to subject my parents' house to the sex offender registry. That's the only reason.
Okay. Are your parents the only people that you could live with then?
Well, my brother has kids.
Okay. Well, I
Well, right, and that's the only other reason. And I am close with my one brother that lives in Cabinet County. My other brother has 4 kids in Winnebago County. And I was actually granted permission to be in contact with my oldest niece and her brother from my brother that's in Chilton in Cabinet County.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
With regard to your the sex offense involving the 13-year-old, that was in Montana?
Correct.
Something you said troubled me.
Okay.
You said technically,
Well, she is a victim.
but that wasn't the word you
I know.
chose.
I know.
Technically a victim. And that falls in line with the reports, the psychological reports that were in the notes from the 2017. Okay. My concern is this. Other than the addict, you are not seeking any additional type of counseling and therapy, what have you. What I'm reading in these reports and based on, I know it was just one word, but it was a word that stuck with me. That was your first choice of saying it. You didn't correct yourself. I brought it up. And the fact that you still don't necessarily see her as an actual victim because she engaged in intercourse with you, correct?
No, there was no intercourse.
No intercourse.
No.
And I'm confused.
I grabbed her chest and I kissed her, and that is the extent of what had happened with it.
Okay.
But, like I said, the charges against me were dropped. And you are correct, she is a victim. I use the word technically because charges were dropped. So,
That, just so you're clear, whether or not a case is even brought against you, if an act was done against somebody, they are always a victim.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions for him? Anybody want to speak for or against him?
Yes,
Can I have your full name, ma'am?
Stacy Lynn Susser.
Go ahead.
First of all, I can obviously see that it is a concern that Colin's support network seems to be outside of Green Bay. We do stay in close contact with Colin. I text and talk with Colin every day. He does have a standing request with his parole officer to come every weekend, allowing our work schedules. So we see each other usually every week.
May I ask, what's your relationship with Mr. Keys?
I'll get right to that.
Okay.
I'm Colin Key's chaperone. I have known Colin and his family since grade school age. We are all members of Peace Church in Potter. I got to know Colin personally while he was in prison. We provide spiritual support for each other. I believe that Colin is not a threat to anyone, including children. Colin hasn't denied his past actions and accepted his due punishment. He paid his time and is complying with his probation. He added thinking for a change group meetings to his schedule. I truly believe that Colin is repentant and ready to start a fresh new life. He needs to keep moving forward in a positive manner. I think that living out of his car undermines all positive changes in his life, and I don't believe in allowing people to be homeless. I do believe in second chances. I know that Colin has a lot of support around him to help him continue to be a productive member in society. He is an asset to his employer as well as his community. He has helped others by giving his time at Manna for Life Soup Kitchen. I think that we should help him by allowing him to have a home to live, that he may continue to work and grow in a supportive environment. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay.
I have a prepared statement also. I'm
Sure.
Colin's minister.
Sure,
Reverend
go ahead.
Dr.
And I'm with him.
Yep,
Okay.
and it's my wife Jeannie.
Amen.
Jeannie's retired teacher from Brilliant High School, and I've been pastor at Peace Church in Potter for 22 years.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
And basically, for me, the big thing is we shouldn't allow him to live in his car. I mean, yeah, the weather's pretty decent today, but what I know from 22 years of living in our areas doesn't stay like this all year round, and I can't imagine what it would be like to live out of your car in Green Bay in November, December, January, February, March, and April, and of course, Colin's a work in progress. We all are, but it would be my heart's desire to see him be able to have a roof over his head. He's got a good job. He's got a lot of skills with regard to the culinary arts. He's able to support himself. I just think it's dangerous to live out of your car.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good situation, and it's frustrating because of course there are people in Calumet County that would love to help him, but because of the nature of the situation, he's confined to Brown County where he doesn't have as many people, and and so we would like to see a roof over his head. And I agree with what Stacy said. I don't see Colin as a threat or a danger to the community. However, if I were sitting where you were sitting and I didn't know Colin, I would feel the same concern. Like I wouldn't want to make a mistake and be responsible for. And yet I'm in a position where I can give you some assurance that I don't see Colin in that area of high likelihood to reoffend. But nevertheless, the core issue for me is him living out of his car. I just think that that's not good.
So how often do you have interactions with him?
Well, I've known Colin for all 22 years. Yeah, he grew up in the church. I confirmed him in 1999. I talked with him a couple of times a month over the phone or electronic communication, texting. So I guess I would add to 2 times a month. And I see him in church once or twice a month. always make sure I give him a hug, and that he's welcome. Another thing I want to say too about Colin is that he's very careful about his surroundings. Because I talked about, you don't have to spend all your time in the car. Maybe you could go to the library. He quickly reminded me there are kids at the library. They have a children's section. You can't go there. So he's very cognizant of, and I think that's the key to overcoming temptation and addictions, is to know where your weaknesses are and to stay away from them. And so he seems to be very aware of where he should not be and doesn't go there. And so I think that strengthens his odds that he will do well in the long haul. But of course, he needs his support group.
Okay. All right. Anybody else for or against? All right. Quick question, have you looked for places outside the city of Green Bay?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
It was just, well, I had called in Bellevue and I had found a couple that could be, but it was either the case or credit history that got me essentially denied.
Okay. All right. Looks like there's a park about 4 blocks away, Frank Seymour Park. Does that sound right, about right?
Could be.
And then Tank Park is about 4 blocks away too. Okay. All right, does anybody, unless you have anything else to say, I'll ask for a motion. We want to make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to deny Mr. Keys to 434 14th Avenue, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Seconded.
We're gonna go ahead and vote then.
So double negative here.
Yeah, this is a vote to deny the request.
Okay.
The motion to deny passes 3-0.
Okay. So here's some thoughts for you. And again, they're just my thoughts. If the board wants to comment, they're more than welcome to comment. I think that the issues out here in the evaluation is what kind of brought me to where I'm at today in terms of voting no. So, I think one of the things I can suggest is that you do reply if you get some more training or support groups, and there's a lot of them in this community. If you want to find another place within Green Bay, or you can find another place within Brown County that doesn't have the sexual offender law that we have here in terms of the residency requirement. So, but right now I'm just not comfortable basically where the reports sit. So
I'm equally not comfortable with the conclusions stated in the report.
So, I appreciate your time. Mr. Daniel Head. Okay, we are back to see how you're doing, and you're supposed to provide us additional treatment documentation, so we just want to go over with you.
All right. How you guys doing?
We're doing well today. I am. I shouldn't say everybody.
Here's that one from my AODA counselor, and this one is from the attic, that one that you guys asked for last time.
So in regards to, again, just to reconfirm, we're okay to do this in public session, right?
Yes.
Okay. So on the AODA, so how many classes have you attended so far?
I have met with him. The first was the intake.
Okay.
So we went through the intake process. I actually see him because he canceled on some kind of, I was supposed to see him this week, but he canceled So next month will be my third time seeing him.
How often are you scheduled to see him?
At least, I would say once a week or maybe every other week.
Okay, but it took you that long to get into the program? in
Yeah,
terms of-
it was a lot of, I guess, you know, they have a lot of people, so I called and I was on they set it up when, because that actually has to, is for my personal thing, but one of the reasons why I'm in that program is because I obtained my license when I first got out of incarceration. And part of my, I guess you would say, I had a OWI back in 2002.
Okay.
So part of that assessment, Brown County determined that I would need to go to in compliance for my license.
Okay.
Nikki, my agent, suggested, because I do have a AODA need on my, part of my probation, that it will combine it, like when I complete this, that need for probation parole will be granted.
Okay.
The attic is the other one that I've been in, my 11 sessions I've been in so far since last time I seen you guys.
So tell me about that. Tell me about, you know, the sessions and what you're getting out of them.
Sure. It's great. It's a very positive group. Learning about self-reflection, safety. That's a big thing, because when I put activity request form in, it's very detailed. Like, you need to know where you're going, what you're doing, and back of the page is safety plan. What are you going to do if something happens? Who are you? And all I can say is that I'm aware of my surroundings. I try not to put myself in activities where I know there's a lot of children. It's like, you know, maybe a movie. I went to the Beer Fest. I was granted to go to the Beer Fest. I just make sure that I'm not around. My chaperone's always with me. I'm in eye contact. Cell phones are charged. If something ever does happen where there is something maybe said or altercation comes up, I got my agent on speed dial. My son is aware, because that's who I would be with, is aware of what he can't do with me. He can't socialize with other kids. If he sees friends, he needs to nicely say, I can't speak now, and move around. Self-reflection, I'm always constantly self-reflecting. I'm always asking questions. I'm always questioning my thoughts, my actions. I very open. I'm very talkable. I like to ask things, and people probably sometimes get annoyed by it because I ask a lot. But that just helps me. I've been working ever since I've been out. Like I said last time, 2 days, I got a job at American Foods. That's going great. 6 days a week, which I had last, but it's paying my bills. That's the one thing I'm learning that I never had in my life, is being responsible. How to pay a bill, how to make sure that the public service bill is paid this week, the rent's paid this month, you know, and I've been doing it. And it's a challenge because I never did it. And that's what I talk about in group. I have men to support me, to give me ideas how to do it, how to write things down. I'm not the best organized person, and I'm working on that because I have cluttered my paperwork together, but you know, that time, everything will work out. But besides that, group and Rebecca and the men that are in it are opening, I guess, open doors that maybe I never really opened before, just on a personal level, not just all do with my sexual crime, just life crime, my life crime, my life of crime, because I can honestly say it, since 15, I didn't really have a productive life.
So are you happy in your new location?
I am tremendously happy. It's great coming home at 1 in the morning, dog ass tired, but I get to open the door to my house. I get to turn on my lights. And I never had that. So it's feels pretty good. I have a car, I have my license, I pay insurance. I think I'm doing pretty good. I have shown everyone no please contact, no bad reports from my agent. I wish agents could be here, but can't be here. Rebecca, you know, has read this. Just, I'm moving forward and one day at a time, you know.
Okay. Any other questions for him?
Yep.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve Mr. Head, 521 South Oakland, Apartment 3.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, congratulations.
All right,
And you don't have to come and see us unless you move someplace else.
all right, thank you.
All right?
You guys have a good afternoon.
Yep. Okay, our next meeting is going to be Wednesday, August, I think, 8th. Actually, it will probably be a week from now. So we just have to send out an agenda for that one special meeting.
No, Monday.
On
Monday,
Yep,
Monday.
Monday. So, so that will just be, as long as we can get that in the paper, we're okay?
I believe so.
Okay. All right.
So we'll schedule that for Monday at 4 so that we can get it published and then follow up tomorrow and find out how the guardianship hearing goes to make sure that the corporate guardian is in fact appointed.
Okay, okay. All right, I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yep.
We have to vote on it again?
Yep, yep.
Oh, I just powered off.
Well, we're both
I can-
gonna vote yes.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
I-
we,
I hope so.
oh, okay.
So
Can you just put me in manually?
yeah, I can do it manually. Who's initiating the motion?
I did.
Okay. To adjourn. And all vote yes.
Thank you.
Oh, even better.
I was so against these at first.
Motion
Now I'm
passed.
feeling better.
Well, I still having a problem. Sometimes I wish it was just in front of me, you know, a little bit more, where I could page through it.
Yeah.
A little